Okay. We got Zoomer people.
We do?
We got 8 Zoomers.
Okay. Ready to go? Since everyone's here?
Oh,
Sure. Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
Morning, everyone.
I'm going to start off today with just a comment from my skills class in Austin. And it's like this core belief system. No, not that yet. I'll be right there.
Okay.
The core belief system. And I'm going to start today with this because there's been questions and stuff going around, and I'd like to address it with our whole team here. Some of the core beliefs that, you know, KW believes in, obviously, starts with God or spirituality. Secondly would be family, and third is business. And in that order. And I think we all know that, being with KW. Today we're going to talk about a little bit about family and change in family, different things that happen in your family, either personally, you may go through challenges in your relationships, you may go through changes with children in your family, going potentially to school, going to college, a change in home. You know, we all go through changes. And I'm opening here today because KW is going through some changes too. And change is inevitable. It's going to happen. And it's what we do with that change that's going to determine our direction as KW and in KW. So yeah, we're going to go through some changes constantly, especially like now. I mean, I'm a change, right? In team leadership. We've got Kelly, we've got Vanessa, new coming into this whole group. Our leadership group is changing. We're going to have a change in how we do or process things. So change is inevitable, and there are changes, and there's changes for real estate agents as well. And I just want to talk about, you know, how you handle that change and how we all handle it as a team, because I'm here as a team. I'm here with you as agents, and we want to kind of know, how do we handle it? And we have 2 options as far as I'm concerned. You either look at this change and you're fearful, or you look at this change and you say, we're ready to move forward. We open ourselves to this change, we accept it, and we move forward. And we open our minds to something greater. So you have 2 choices, and my choice and our leadership choice is always open arms, positive. Let's take this as a learning experience and a chance to grow. So growth oriented as far as I'm concerned, and as far as our team is concerned. And if we look at change through those eyes and that lens, we're going to move to a different direction, a positive direction within the whole KW Market Center. And so I urge you to keep your mind open and go towards growth rather than fear. And when we go towards growth, as I said before, when you go towards growth, it's always a positive. It's not a negative ever. And that's how we want to approach this. So approach it as a positive. So having said that, in this family, and that's what we're going to do as a team leadership, no matter what happens, we're going to go for growth. I always like to have a little motivational thing. And since we were in mindset and growth, and the last time I talked, we talked about that too. Your mind is the key to unlocking your success. Expand it, empower it, and watch as your limited mindset becomes a thing of the past. And we take every opportunity possible for that growth and expansion. And I'm going to give you tools for that through these team leadership meetings, and then also through my individual meetings with you, which I have absolutely loved so far. You're going to get, you know, again, I'm going to reach out to every one of you. You're going to have a meeting, and we're just going to go through what you need. And I have loved this first week being with this team because I have learned so much about the agents that I've interviewed so far. And there is so much growth for us. I'm very excited about that potential. So this is something that I want you to think about. How are you expanding your mind? How are you empowering it? And are you in that growth mindset? Or are you like, this is a scary time? Or what are you thinking? What are you doing and what are you doing to empower it? I'm going to give you some tools for that and a big toolbox. So I'm going to give you some tools for that and how to stay positive in a changing environment. And then this is just something that I think is important in life that I share with you. It's the first step you can make in empowering yourself, I think. Number one, show up. When I say show up, I say be on time. Show up, be on time, be there, right? I have seen various agents that, and not necessarily here, but around, that don't even show up, don't show up on time. Why is it important to show up on time? It shows respect. It shows respect for that person, but more importantly, it shows respect for you. So be on time. Always show up and be ready. It's so simple, right? But we have a hard time doing it sometimes. That's really important. Dress up. And I say dress up because you only have one shot at a first impression. And so when you're going out there, show up, dress up, be presentable, have your KW stuff on, represent. I think that's really important, right? And I'm not saying dress up like, you have to have a suit and tie on, but be presentable, because that is absolutely what people think of you. The first impression, right? They look at you and they go, they make up their mind in the first 2 minutes. And then lastly, lead up. And when I say lead up, represent KW, always. Be talking positively about it. Be active in it. Present yourself as knowledgeable. And spread the word. Spread the word that this is the best company that you can work for. And this is the best real estate agency that you can be part of. Spread the word. And so those are 3 little things that you can do that don't require a lot of energy, but I will tell you will be impactful for the rest of your life. So good there. And I'm just going to give you a couple of little things that are going on. I'm going to be, besides that, I'm going to be reaching out to all of you, as I just said, for an interview. And then I'm gone tomorrow through Monday. You should all know that. I booked a little vacation months ago before I decided to come on as team leader. So I will be back for the meeting next Tuesday. But thank you all for showing up, and can't wait to see you next week. Okay. Oh, come back 1 second.
Am I going back? Am I staying?
Yeah, just hold on 1 second. Aha moment. Anyone? Aha moment. Something positive, something amazing that happened to you this week? Yeah.
I get to do the budget for next year.
Yeah. One, two, KW. Ready? 1, 2, 1, KW. What else?
In the office up in Chelan, we've been really struggling with our Wi-Fi computer connection, super slow. Jose tackled it, has solutions for us. It's getting better and better every day.
1, 2, yeah, Jose.
Our clap's good, or
We're getting better. Well, I should go 1, 2, 3 KW. We'll get better at it. I'll get better at it.
Okie dokie. So let me unspotlight. If any of you guys haven't been in the office, Vanessa has chocolates on her desk, which we're all very excited about. So yeah, no, she's choosing like good chocolate. Yeah, and it's not cheap chocolate either. So come into the office. I was trying to speak, new top five, so we have Sydney is at our top, a little over 4. Kara close behind, a little over 12 million. Claps on the top five, we'll do regular clap.
Absolutely.
9.4. Thank you, I'm happy to be on there. And then Anna Marie is a little under 6 million. Pick that up towards her at 5.4. And then for our teams, Agent 509, little over 15 million. Team Malloy, little under 14.5 million. Frontline team, little over 9 million. Dolby, little under 6 million. And then Team Dolman on the board, a little over 4 million. Buddy.
Numbers.
Big numbers. Birthdays. Yeah, we got a ton of birthdays. What are you? Do you want to say in birthday? Oh, that's fine. I thought you were pointing at Estella and I was like, Estella's not on here. Well, happy birthday to everybody. Happy birthday, Kathy. We got a little ways to go, but happy birthday. And then we have some anniversaries. Chelsea, Aisha, Ed, and happy anniversary, everybody. Well, not everybody, 4 people. Anyways, be compliant as always. I'll find a new fun slide for this next week so we can switch it up a little bit. But yeah, TCPA, do not call. Follow laws, don't get sued. More of the story. Be safe. New listings, me, Naomi, and Marcia. I think I'm seeing myself. It's weird. Closing. Ton of closings last week. Yeah, good end to September. So congrats, everybody.
Mine closed 2 weeks early.
There's your off. On the off part of it. And then again, we're having this slide each month. So, yeah, Kelly updated this before. So we have 8.75% market share, which I believe is up from the last time. We were in the 7s. So, yeah.
And Nick and Laura Mount are switched places.
Okay, so we'll switch at the bottom.
And Windermere, Lakeland, and Coldwell Banker switched places this week.
Yeah. Well, end of the year differences.
And CB Cascade is combined Lakeland and Wenatchee, so
Oh, it's both.
Yeah,
2 and
that's their
1.
goal, yeah.
Gotcha.
they're slightly, CB is slightly above us in agent count,
Mm-hmm.
right? Coldwell Banker, are they slightly above us in agent count?
Between them,
so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I have no idea about anything. I shouldn't say that out loud as much in front of
Not when it's reported on.
everyone. Yeah, it's fine. I am who I am. You know this. Anyways, yay for us. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so Sydney helped me out because I'm sure everybody has seen the update terrible update to Northwest MLS Matrix looks like crap. But yes, but Sydney did show me that we could, so that's why there's a little bit of a difference. Because yeah, we'll get used to it. I'm sure they'll make it better in a couple of weeks when they figure out how much everybody hates it. It's just not a nice layout. But anyways, let's look at numbers.
Yeah.
Whole bunch of sold listings. Yeah.
end of the week.
Yeah. Oh, end of the.
Or the end of the month, thank you, yeah.
Still a ton of price reductions. Great for buyers.
Forest fires.
Call your canceled and expired listings, snatch them up. Check the do not call list before you call them. Yeah, interesting. This is probably one of my favorite slides of sales rally, so we can look. It's a good idea. I think this is your idea. Any comments? Any thoughts? Any Zoomer people?
Might be interesting just to talk about like the cadence of the market, like, you know, we were specifically, actually have that hot new listing on Fifth Street. It's like activity's been not as great as one would expect. Is anybody else seeing that in their listing? Yeah.
Makes me feel better, guys. Thanks.
Really nice for us to all like come back for our sellers and be like, hey, everybody else, it's not just us. It's everybody's dealing with this.
Yeah.
And with the changing market, so, check out my new listing, 2103 Fifth Street, so look that up. But also, because the changing market, like, I had, Sydney come in and Aaron and Nicole, and I was just like, I need more eyeballs to figure out in this market, because sometimes you have a unique house too, to where it's like, it has benefits and maybe not as many benefits, so just, I guess, a good way to always utilize people in the office if you need more eyeballs on listings to do pricing and just get more opinions. So,
My listing coming up, they are actually having their appraisal done first.
oh,
Interesting.
yeah,
Cause, that one Kramer, you know, that one?
Yeah.
It appraised at 800 and now they have it listed at 699 and they're still not seeing the event. Yeah.
Oh,
like,
and that
that's,
one
like, the
that's
hard thing
been-
about appraisals is it's looking back at past data instead of like looking to the future for like what buyers are willing to pay. So yeah, great that they're doing that. but-
well, hopefully, yeah, if they appraise and then they still
The hope
price.
is to price it under what they appraisal is at to show that instant
Mhm.
equity and yeah, we'll see, but yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, changing market for sure. And I only got into things a month before COVID, so this is just a fun new real estate market for Ashley. It's yeah, super fun. It's always changing. You just gotta go with the flow. Okay, what is the form number for the well addendum? Anybody on Zoom?
What did you say, 25?
Thank you.
Kathy, I can't hear you, but you look like you know the answer. What did you type? Still, oh, you're muted for some reason. Weird. Give me numbers. A 3, a 2's, yep. T? 22.
Close.
Very close. Anybody else? You can throw it in the chat if we got. You know, I think I'm
Right next
just
to it in alphabet.
overly confident in your guys' ability to get this all right, because I'm just like, yeah, you're 100% right. 100% correct. So, good job. And
Nope.
no, oh, next time, guys, next time, 22R. So very close. You got your 22s right. So that's good. Family reunion. So, they actually came out with, after I bought my plane tickets, which is wonderful, that there's a discount on airfare. If you're interested in that. So it's a 7% discount through Alaska Airlines. And for me, it was like $430 or so to fly from Wenatchee to, so,
Was it a straight shot from Wenatchee to Vegas?
or no, sorry, Wenatchee to Seattle, to there, to then back.
Way over in Seattle.
It's like an hour and a half.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's enough to go to Floret Cafe, where you get delicious coffee and breakfast.
Lady Yum for.
Yes, for the, yes. No, I always buy like a couple of her little macaroons. So yeah, if you've already bought a flight, I'm gonna check and see if they'll retroactively do the discount, crossing fingers. If anybody already bought their flight tickets, I will let you know if I get lucky with that. So. And this will be in the notes too, that you need the little code, and you should have gotten an email from the region. And we're gonna see if this little video is going to work, since I don't embed.
Innovation also.
Incredible leadership session this morning. I'm most excited about Command MC, take technology to a whole new level.
I think color items is phenomenal with the amount of education that they offer. I think that same knowledge when it comes to real estate. Sure, with your in-person. My big family.
I'm excited about inspirational morning.
I can't wait to get back here with my team and to get and implement all the great things I learned. There's so many people, there's so many contacts, and it's just the energy is unreal. World class.
I got those vibes. Good vibes.
That's really nice. I love it.
Yeah. So for anybody that is not gone, that's the energy that you get. Last year they actually had, Gary had brought his band from Texas to, was it Florida last year? Were you in Florida? Yeah, true. So, but yeah, he had brought, and then I had met, Mo Anderson was in the crowd and she had her like sparkly shirt on and her like glitter hat. So I got a little picture with Mo. It was fun. So, but yeah, just kind of the energy you get, it just lifts you up and then you learn so many things. And, yeah, we're just going to highlight it a little bit more each sales rally and hopefully you guys can come with us. Cindy, you want to say some things so we can all be super safe?
So I went to our, and Cherie from our office also came. So to our membership meeting, we had, one of the deputy sheriffs come and just help give us some reminders about realtor safety, because what we do puts us in dangerous situations. Going to meet people at houses that we've never been to, that we don't know, that's dangerous. And that's just part of our job, but there's lots of things we can do to better ensure our safety. So do you have the bullet points? Yeah. Perfect. So one of those things, so Rocky up in Okanagan, he's also on the board and he had some great, best practices too. Take a picture of people's ID. So I have a buddy, my realtor friend in Seattle. Anytime I'm going through a home that I don't know, I'm like walking into a stranger's home, meeting strangers, I text her, hey, I'm meeting this person at this location. And if I don't get back to you in an hour, call the police. That's what we do, and then I just shoot her a text, oh, we're running late or something, if I'm going past that. But it's serious stuff, So one of the best practices, hey, when you're meeting somebody, hey, I need a picture of your ID, and then send it off to your buddy person who knows where you're at and just be in communication. Make sure somebody always knows where you are. One way to do that is to, when you're going out for showings, meet them at a place that has cameras. Gas stations have cameras. So like, if you just have a standard of like, when I'm meeting people for showings, I'm going to meet them at this place, and your buddy knows that, like that you meet them there. If they, don't hear from you, can't get a hold of you, are trying to call the police, you can send them back to, hey, they met at this gas station where there were cameras. So this is really serious. Like this happens, you guys. This happened recently in Tri-City. So I'm sure some of you have heard that horror story. Somebody was raped in a vacant home. And luckily somebody came and was able to stop that from happening. That could have been a murder. Like, we don't know, but that's why we have to take this really seriously. So, no scare tactics. I know it's like coming up on Halloween, but like, just get really real with yourself about how can I best protect myself? Is that, I carry bear spray in the car sometimes, if I'm going out in the woods, that kind of stuff. Make sure you know how to use those kind of weapons if you have them, so that you're not damaging yourself, in place of trying to like, get away from somebody. So this one, don't allow clients to split up during a showing. That's one that I have a hard time, like sometimes there's large groups. And so a way that Rocky was saying that he talks about that is, hey guys, Rocky Devon in Okanagan County.
He's just an agent.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, Remax up in
Gotcha.
Okanagan.
Yeah.
Okay. But he used to be in law enforcement. So like he has a lot of these really good ideas and he's on the board with me, the NCWR board. Anyway, so when you go to a showing and there's even just a couple or a large group, hey guys, for my Washington state license, we have to stay together as a group. I can't allow you to separate and go into the house in different areas. We need to stay together. That's for your own safety and for the seller's stuff safety, right? Like it's your responsibility as a realtor when you're allowing somebody into someone else's home. You can't let them just like wander around by themselves. Like that's not okay. You have to keep your eyes on them as best you can. And the only way you can do that is if you stay in one group. So that, is a standard that you should have for yourself, whatever talking points you need to say. Rocky says, I could lose my license if we don't stick together as a group. And that,
Great little.
yeah, exactly. Like you just put it on that, like, hey, the state's the bad guy, we gotta stick together. If you use somebody as a scapegoat, that's a good way to have that conversation. Was there any others that yeah, I think that's all. Any questions? Marcia?
I just want to say, I think, first of all, Tom never lets me go alone.
That's
But we have
great.
so many new brokers
Mhm.
that we need to make sure that we have 2 or 3 that we could call up
Yeah.
and say, hey, can you go with me?
Mhm.
It's great experience and
Absolutely.
2 is better than 1.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a
Yeah.
great idea. Yeah, having a buddy system is better than just having a text friend
Mm-hmm.
person. I think that's a great idea, Marcia.
Well, and even for people that aren't new, well, it's like, and also when you're showing, a house, it's like, don't go in the bedroom first and like you kind of go to the side and you
Mhm.
like, don't.
Or even, yeah, like when you're getting the lockbox open, here's the door. Don't like turn your head to like, and like somebody could like whack you and like knock you out. Like just, always have your back, like just be a little bit of that defensive, like, yes, be open and friendly, but you have to keep in the back of your mind, your safety is #1 priority.
Yeah, I heard also like don't park in like the driveway.
Yeah.
Park on the street where
Mhm.
you can easily get in your car and leave, somebody can't block you in.
Exactly. Yep. Those are really, any other, points like that I'm forgetting that are good, just safety things to keep in mind?
Well, and I share my Google location if I'm ever going like out in the boons.
Yeah.
I should probably do it all the time,
That's great.
Yeah, so, and you can set it to where it shares your location like all the time, or you can just set it for
My
like a
sister's
day
like
or an
that.
hour, or, yeah, my sister shares, I know where Jen is all the time, I don't know why she shares her location with me.
Yeah.
But, and then I know I'll find the info and put it in the notes. The National Association of Realtors has like a safety, I think there's like an app you can download to where it, like, you can upload a picture of your client, like, it's a whole thing.
Supra app, I think, has something, or, yeah, something, wasn't there something else in there?
Yeah, I know there's resources like that. I haven't ever utilized them.
There is like an alert
I thought, yeah,
button, I don't know why it's grayed out.
I just know, like, after hearing about that incident in Tri-Cities, like looking back at all of the risks I've taken, I'm like, wow, that could have been me
Yeah.
so many times, like it just puts a little bit of healthy fear in us, I think, to realize that can happen,
I got sketchy vibes from somebody and then I was like, cause I would like I showed him something in the backyard and he would like stand, like he kept kind of being behind me and I kept pivoting and he kept being like behind me. And I was like, so then I bought my pepper spray and I keep like forgetting it at home. It's like this.
So, well, I
zero
think
sense.
that comes to
You
another
know?
good point, like listen to your gut. If you're getting any red flags, any bad feelings, if somebody's not willing to give you a picture of their ID, like, do you really want to be going anywhere with them by yourself?
Mhm.
Maybe not. I don't know,
Yeah.
Yeah, the office is also a super great place to meet people first before you go show them anything, before you meet them at their house. Like if you're getting any like weird vibes, be like, hey, let's meet at my office first. We can go over, some questions and then we'll go to your house or whatever, like just feel them out, feel your gut,
I can take a picture with you.
the red file thing.
What's
So-
the red file?
I learned about this when I started, it was a while ago, so I don't know, but what they would tell us was if you were at an open house or you were doing something with a client, and you were uncomfortable, you're like, they ask a question about the property, you're like, hold on, let me call and get the answer really quick. And you call whoever at the office and you say, hey, I'm at this address, they're asking about this, can you check the red file? And as soon as you say that, that triggers the office to call 911.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, like a little angel shot at the bars.
Exactly, very similar, but that was like 2018, so I don't know.
And let's hope that whoever gets that call knows that.
Well, yeah, so but it's not being like.
That is during the.
Yeah, office hours.
Or whoever you call, like, but
Yeah,
That was,
yeah, that's an
it might have
interesting.
just been something that our office did.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Anybody on Zoom have any
Question there.
questions or anything that they do to be super safe and not get murdered? Anybody?
One thing I do is I always tell my husband where I'm going, and I also told him if, and I don't, whether it would be, they would allow me to make a phone call, but I would say something like, hey, Chris, just wanted to let you know I'm gonna be late. Well, my husband's name's Vince, so he knows the
Oh,
call.
yeah, old code words. Not a bad idea. Thanks, Kathy. And I'd say if you, I mean, I don't know, if we get sketchy vibes, do you think it's worth like the office, like having a little list of sketchy vibe people?
Ooh, like that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have like a super sketchy vibe. I had one guy that just kept really wanting to make me dinner and so I kind of ghosted him a little bit and now Sarah's helping him. So I told Sarah, I was like, if he starts wanting to cook you dinner, then watch out for that. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah, maybe we'll chat about more safety things and see if we can do something in the office.
The SCRMs do that, they've got like a list of
Oh,
bad
okay.
renters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Russ, you want to say some things?
Should be brothers minutes.
Yeah. How many minutes you want? Just kidding.
One more thing about that. I had a good friend named Lance Otto, who's a KW Marysville. But very athletic. He got his ass whooped on an open house by 4 dudes. 3 of them stayed in the car. He went in with 1, went upstairs. 3 of them came in, were under the railing, and he walked down the stairs. They hit him with a lamp that was in the house, tried to kill him. He was successful in fighting them off, but he got beat up badly. But if it wasn't for his physical prowess and his athleticism and luck, he would have been dead. So it happens to men and women. There's actually more men murdered in real estate than women. More sexual assaults with women, but a lot of men think I can handle it. Maybe not. So it's not worth the risk. It's good to be not arrogant when it comes to safety. And you can't stop a knife or a gun no matter how tough you are, right? So something to think about. Did you happen to put those in that I say? Or
I'm
okay,
just
so
really
she's
off
amazing.
on my timing.
She's amazing.
Mhm.
Fletcher sent me this a couple days ago. And I sent it to her 10 minutes before the sales rally. That's why she's.
I was giving her shit. I'm like, really? Sorry.
See that part right there, beliefs, feelings, and certainty, kind of goes with what Lois is saying. Set of beliefs that you have kind of determines how you think and what you focus on. What you allow will continue. Feelings and emotions, are they part of this business? You think clients have any emotions? Sometimes it's important to, when we experience this, to rewind it to that. Often what happens is we start acting a certain way based on these feelings, based on this thought pattern. And then as we start performing our actions, it ends up leading to a certain set of results. This is that rule of 6. Now, when you think about how we think, when we start by how we think, what our values are, so often this is the $64 million question. Is that voluntary or involuntary in your mind? Is that it? Can be a combination. Many people think on autopilot based on their past, based on their conditioning, based on their environment, based on their programming, and they don't realize that thinking a certain way is optional. We really don't think about thinking that much. We just think. We wake up, we think, we believe certain things, emotions come to us, we start acting a certain way, and we get a certain set of results. In business, not unlike your personal life, in business, to Lois's point, things are always changing. That's what a shift is about. A shift means we're going from somewhere to somewhere else. Do we know exactly what that means in business? We're shifting somewhere. We know it's not yesterday. We know we don't have 3% interest rates. We know the price isn't 300,000 on an average anymore. So things have changed. But are we thinking about that? And if we are we going to act the same way we've always acted? And expect the same results we've always got if they were good? If they were not good, I would imagine we're trying to change those behavioral patterns, which means we have to kind of rewind it and we have to focus on what we really, really want. Everything that is a distraction takes away from your focus. Is that fair? How many of us have a lot rattling around up here that is distracting? Life. Life happens. So that's how important not being on autopilot. Every single one of us is different, and we have a home for everyone here at Keller Williams. The reason when a shift happens, it's a shock, right, to the system sometimes, because we're working so hard down and in, we forget to look up and out. We forget to think about what is causing us to be a certain way. And again, it's optional. Regardless of what you have thought about, regardless of how you felt, you can always take a step back and reevaluate what your value system is. What is important to you? Because if we don't spend some time working on our business instead of in our business, we will repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And then one day we might wake up and find that we're not in a good place, whether it's spiritually, financially, emotionally, physically. These are all some things that have to do with there. And so what I want to challenge you to do, October 1st is January 1st for business leaders, business owners. Right now is the time to start planning for next year. Making your New Year's resolution in business is October 1st. Doing your business planning starts October 1st. And you can decide, we all have the ability to decide, regardless of where we were, we can decide what's important to us and where we want to be. And then we can start thinking and focusing on it. We can start feeling what that, once you do that, you can start getting new feelings. There's a reason why people say the hocus pocus stuff like thoughts are things, or what you focus on expands, or what you allow will continue. These are all true. That's why they say that. Uh-oh. Somebody messed with a realtor, it sounds like. I don't have hairspray though, so there's a victim and it's not the realtor. So my question, my challenge is when you have opportunities to just break the cycle, do it intentionally. Focus with intention. And maybe you want to do exactly what you've always done. Maybe you're on the right path. Or maybe if you spend some time working on your business by really evaluating where you are versus where you would like to be. And think big. Because here's the problem with human beings. Our brain thinks it's in charge of us. It's evolution. In the absence of leadership, people will listen to anything, including themselves, meaning their brain. But their brain is not who they are. The brain is an organ. And left to its own devices, it will navigate towards what it perceives as comfort, what it perceives as average, what it perceives as the herd. Because in the herd, we're safe. Right? But is that where we want to live? It's okay if you do. But ask yourself these questions as you think about your future, and know that you have the power to change the way you think based on what you believe in. Spend some time, spend some quality time without distraction, thinking about it, and realize you're capable, worthy, and really resourceful in this world. You have so much to give, and therefore you have so much to get. With an abundant mindset, all of this is possible. I promise you, every one of you in the room can be the best agent that's ever lived. It is within all of your power. I've seen it over and over. In 34 years of watching people grow, I've seen people, if you bet on them day one, it would have been a wild bet. And there indeed, they are number one. It happens. Everyone, that's the beautiful thing about the business that we're in of helping people. So it all starts though, by breaking the cycle of autopilot with intentional thinking. Okay,
Can I add something to that?
yeah, absolutely. Anybody can.
Yeah, it's not only what you believe, right? But it's also your words. Words are really, really important in this business. How you portray yourself, but also what you say to people. Being kind, being honest, but kindness goes a long way, a long way. And so, you know, just having that awareness as well. What is going to come out of my mouth, and is it going to be something that is going to be beneficial in this conversation? So yes, what's in your mind, but also what comes out. Right?
Yeah, Lo said what comes out of your mouth verbally is powerful. Here's the reality. This is a proven scientific fact. I didn't make it up.
Disclaimer.
Talk until you got them. Here's the thing. When you think something negative, it's about 3 or 4 times more likely to happen. They've proven that with test studies. When you say it out loud, it's 10x that. Think about that. 30 to 40 times more likely to happen when you say something out loud. Your brain does not care if what you say is true or not true. It simply will find the evidence to support instinctually what you say out loud. I'm ugly. My brain instantly started releasing the chemicals to prove that I'm ugly. Doesn't matter if I'm good looking or not. I could be Brad Pitt. If Brad Pitt thinks he's ugly, his body, his brain will produce those chemicals. Right? That's important to understand because your brain is just an organ. It's been created over a long time. It's the only one that has this crazy job of doing something that we don't really want it to do. It's not like our heart or our liver or kidneys or our lungs. They have a job, they do it. So we have to remember we're in charge of our brain, and what we say matters. What we say about ourselves matters more. I had a conversation, Desiree was privy to it. Sometimes I'm not that good at being secretive. I have a friend that's going through a very rough time. Suicidal. I made him promise me this morning. Yeah? I made him promise me this morning that if I was going to help him in business, he had to do one thing for me today. He had to promise me verbally today that he would stop talking negatively about himself. Now, you know what his answer was? I just don't want my stupidity, my mistakes to cost you anything. You've done so much for me in my life, Russ. I don't want to let you down. So his heart is in a very giving place, but at the expense of his own being. So what I said to him is the only thing I want from you is to no longer say things that are negative about yourself, because you're not stupid. And regardless of what happened, regardless of the mistakes we've made, the beautiful thing about tomorrow, it's a new day. For all of us, we're human. I've made a million mistakes. Million, at least, maybe more. So it's important when you do run across someone that impacts you in a way that becomes what I call viscerally emotional. Somebody's mean to you. Somebody's screaming at you. Somebody's yelling at you. Somebody's rude to you. Somebody steals from you or your family. Instincts kick in, right? Those are fighting words. Anybody ever felt that? I have. Since I was like this big. I have to calm my ass down all the time. And I have to remember, something is going on in that person that I do not understand. And so I can choose to assume the worst based on what they said. It was pretty bad. Or I can perhaps assume that they have something going on that I do not understand. I do not live their life. I have not given them necessarily the power, the sacred gift, the power to affect me emotionally with words. Anybody remember in elementary school, sticks and stones can break my bones, words can never hurt? Well, they can hurt us, can't they? They can slice right through you if you let them. This is a business of dealing with humanity. And is it fair to say that humanity is full of a rainbow of colors and flavors of people, good to evil, and everything in between? So just remember that as we work in this business of people. If anything, take what they do, embrace it, and feel sorry for them in a way and try to help them even more, not less. That's an abundant mindset versus a scarcity mindset, because scarcity in your mind, when you allow your mind to do its natural thing, becomes very scarce. It's all about me. It's all about, be careful. Don't share. Mine, me. That's a scarcity mindset. Sadly, that leads to suffering. An abundant mindset where there's enough deals for everyone. Everyone can celebrate everyone. That's a beautiful mindset. That's a beautiful place to live. And you will feel the results when you start to change your way of thinking. But it does not happen easily or naturally, because we've been trained, we've been conditioned to not do that. This company, the culture that our new team leader is talking about and is going to continue to talk about, has to do with all of these things working together as a collective through individuals. But we all have the choice to stop what we're doing and reevaluate how we're thinking, how we're feeling, and what we really want. Now is the time. We're in the middle of a shift. It can be the most beautiful time you've ever had in real estate. Keller Williams, do you know this? Grew 100,000 agents in 2008. From that moment forward. Because when things get difficult, the value proposition that this firm and the guy that's at the top of this firm, Gary Keller, what he believes in, what he has created is a set of values that create abundance. And education and training is part of that. And you can either be learning based or what? So there you go. Anybody have any comments or anything? Or?
That was really good. Thank you.
Those are some really powerful words, Russ. Thank you.
Well, the funny thing is, it's all simple stuff. Not quantum physics up here.
Simple stuff that we need repeating. And
You said last time, the fundamentals.
Yeah, focus on the basics. Sometimes it's just focus on the basics, focus on the fundamentals. And good things will happen to you. I know it's scary sometimes. I know it's really easy to be fear-based. And know this, that it's okay. Fletcher likes to say this, and I've just stuck with me. I like to think I'm a courageous person. Would you guys think I'm a courageous person? If I asked you, honestly. You know that courage, that's an asset, right? But it can only happen when fear is present. Do you know that? It's impossible to have courage without fear. But is it possible to have fear without courage? So just remember, if courage is an attribute that you all possess, and if you don't possess it, raise your hand and let's talk about it. Let's talk about how you're feeling. Let's not hold it inside. You're not alone. Nobody is ever alone, and no one succeeds alone. That's a myth. And just remember, if there's fear, what comes next can be beautiful within courage, because that's the only way courage can show up. Just don't ever think you're alone, people, no matter what's happening, and know that it's okay to feel alone, but you're not alone. Not here. Ever. That's all I got today.
Yeah, you need like 20 cough drops today. I actually Googled if you could overdose on cough drops when I saw your pile of wrappers earlier this morning. You can't, so
They're sugar-free.
looking out for you. And also come to family reunion to hear this guy talk, because that's just wonderful.
Inspiring.
Yeah, holy crap. Michael, do you want to say things?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, let me spotlight you. Okay, ready.
All right, so it's been an active couple days in the market. Basically, as we speak, interest rates are for the average 30-year fixed are hovering just under 8%, about 7.75. I checked my pricing sheet today and it goes up as high as almost 9% depending on the product. So things are on the up and up, not in a good way. The next Fed funds rate or Fed funds meeting is at the end of this month, and they're expected to increase it. They did a pause, and all signs point to that they will increase it. If they don't, great. But regardless, even if they're pausing it right now, the rates are continuing to go up. And I won't get into the reason as to why. This is actually kind of normal based on what the market's doing, but it's making it harder and harder for people to qualify. So October 12th is the next CPI report. So just a couple of important dates: end of October, early November for the Fed funds, and then October 12th for CPI data. And that could determine how aggressive the Feds end up being as far as increasing that rate. So still saying to everybody, if you're going to offer a lower price, we're seeing things sit a lot longer, and you're better off getting closing costs and doing either a 3-2-1 buy down, a 2-1 buy down, or even a permanent buy down. So for those of you that don't know what a 2-1 or a 3-2-1 buy down is, I'll just use very simple. Simple terms, if you have a starting interest rate of, let's call it 7%, that a 3-2-1 buy down means for the first year, your payment is 3% less your final rate. So the first year you'd be at 4%, the second year you'd be at 5%, and the third year you'd be at 6%, and then all years after that you would be at the final note rate of 7%. And that's something the seller usually pays for. The one thing is with 2-1 buy downs, so they have a few of them. They have 3-2-1, 2-1, 1-1. They have all sorts of different products that you can use. The 3-2-1 ends up saving you the most amount of money. The 2-1s, they're fine. I'm not a huge fan of them because you really only save money on the first year when your interest rate is 2% lower. But on that next year where it's only 1%, honestly, you could have used the money that you got to do a permanent buy down and actually saved more than you would on the second year, a little bit closer to what you'd be saving on that first year. The benefit to them is basically the seller takes the lump sum. It's not actually, your interest rate isn't actually lower. All that's happening is the seller is taking the interest difference and they're putting that money in an account, and then the difference in your payment gets paid from that account. So the benefit is that if you take, let's say you're on a 3-2-1 and you only use the first year, and then rates come down and you refinance, that money that's left over in that account can be applied to as a principal reduction on the loan. So it doesn't go away. So that's the plus side to not doing a permanent rate buy down, is once you permanently buy down the rate, that money's gone. You can't get it back. But with a 3-2-1, you can get access to that money if you refinance within that period of time. The only thing I would caution people to say is, or people to notice, is that if you are going to take advantage of one of those programs, be very comfortable with what that final payment is. Do not stretch your budget based on refinances that are going to be guaranteed. I'm seeing some people say, oh yeah, you guarantee you can refinance next year. Well, I would expect rates to hopefully come down next year because we have an election year, and we all know how they like to use those numbers to make it seem better than they actually are, regardless of who the party is. But I would expect to see, maybe some interest rates come down, some relief, but there's no guarantee. So I always caution people to say, listen, if you do a 2-1 or a 3-2-1, you have to make sure that you're okay with that final payment, because you don't want to get in underwater or over your head as far as that payment goes. So that's all I got as far as the update on the market goes. One other thing that I thought was kind of cool to notice is when we have these unique circumstances come up. So we had a property in Wenatchee that was listed as a duplex, multifamily, and in the listing they actually listed duplex. So as we were looking into it, the county wasn't matching what the listing said. And it started to raise a couple questions in my mind. And I don't, if you guys don't know this, if you are going to purchase a duplex owner occupied, if you're using a conventional loan, you have to put 15% down. If you're using an FHA loan, you can put 3.5, but usually the mortgage insurance and the payments are going to be a little higher on FHA, so conventional can sometimes be better. So in this case, we had a borrower who didn't have 15% down, he had 5%, didn't want to go with FHA, he only wanted to go conventional. So as I was looking over this listing, it wasn't matching up on what the county said. So I dove into it a little bit more, and it ended up being, and the home was built in like 1910. So honestly, it could have been open to interpretation, but I interpreted it as this is not a multifamily property. I mean, it is in a sense, it's an ADU. It is not a duplex. It wasn't zoned as a duplex. It was more so zoned. They didn't even have zoning back in 1910. So when this was, I mean, I don't know, they may have, but I'm just going off of what I would think. This is grandfathered in, so we did a little bit of digging in. We had some title reports pulled, we had some other things pulled real quickly, and lo and behold, the appraiser agreed with us, and they ended up showing the property as a single family home with an ADU, and our borrower was able to put 5% down. So the listing agent wasn't with KW, or I'd actually never heard of them before. So I'm not sure what was going on with that. But if you have weird things like that, if it's manufactured home, if it's multifamily, if it's condos, feel free to reach out to us, because we deal with a lot of weird properties like that. And there's some rules, case in point, FHA. I don't know if you guys know this, but condos have to be FHA approved unless they are in a condo association and a development that has only detached condos in it. If it has only detached condos, meaning there's no shared walls, it doesn't have to be FHA approved. But if it has one attached unit, then the whole thing has to be FHA approved. So there's these weird little rules that you guys might not know that could completely change the way you market the property. So keep that in mind. If you guys have any questions, you have my number and I'll throw it in the chat. But any questions at all on that?
Nope, we love you.
You say I love my work.
Yeah. I didn't say my usual sentence, so I didn't think you guys would laugh at me that, you know, yeah, I
always waiting.
There's no
hold
shade,
on for my punchlines.
no shade things today.
No. Hey, so do you have, oh, there's somebody in the chat and then I'll say things. Oh, that's you. Huh. Do you have, so I know like months ago, well, really you can go online and find whatever answer you want, as we all know, but it was like, oh, well, economists think that interest rates might drop by the end of the year, but then, oh, they might drop the first quarter of 2024, and then they might this and the who knows and the what's it. Do you have like economists that, because that's something with like listings and like everybody's wondering, you know, what the future holds in the crystal ball and the whole, what the rates are going to do. Do you, yeah.
I would say that it's pretty split down the middle. If you ask Barry Habib, which is the mortgage guru, he said that we should have been in the 4s late last year. So I'm going, all right, well, that's clearly not happening. So there's such a split and a divide. I personally think, and I tend to subscribe to, we are in this, it's going to be longer and it's going to be a little harder than we might think. So I think we're honestly looking towards, I mean, this is just a guess, but I think we could be late 2024 before we start to see relief. But I think rates are gonna be higher and things are gonna be a little bit harder, longer than we expect. I wouldn't expect any relief as long as they continue to raise interest rates. The only saving grace is the election. So depending on when and how heated things get, I think that's when they could potentially say, okay, let's put a pause, let's actually decrease this. Let's manipulate the market a little bit so that we can get whoever we want in there to make it look good. And then after that continue on with what's needed. So I think we could see a short relief in that window, but once that's over, depending on the numbers and what inflation is looking like, I think we have a little farther to go. And that seems to be a common theme for, I listen to quite a bit of podcasts and follow what the Fed's saying, and they are kind of saying brace for a little, higher, higher longer, in other words. So that would be mine. It's not very optimistic, but it provides a lot of opportunity for buyers. And if the rates do come down in 2024 due to the election, I think we could see a spike in transactions, and we're going to see borrowers re-enter the market. I mean, call us at 8% right now. So if things go down to 6%, that opens the floodgates for that many more borrowers, because rates really aren't 6%. People are buying down into the 4.5%, 5% interest rate realm. So by 8, really they're buying into the 7.5 realm. So that could open up a huge floodgate. So buy now, be able to afford what it is you can, and then if and when rates come down, refinance. But I'm not telling people it's guaranteed to happen next year or anything, because that's going to open up. I mean, I'll get sued for that or something. You don't want that.
True. Yeah.
So long-winded answer, I would have just expected to be higher longer, and otherwise, that the election is kind of the wild card.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very mucho. And
You're welcome.
yeah, we'll just be positive for the rest of the sales rally.
Wah, wah, wah.
Business plan. I'm gonna bust through the rest of these guys since we had lots of good things to talk about. Rebecca's class. So yes,
Rebecca's awesome.
definitely. And it now includes 4 o'clock hours. So when you, need those for your renewing your license anyways, then might as well utilize a great class and get them at the same time.
And
So-
$30 for 4 o'clock hours.
That's a hell of a discount. So heck of a deal. A little bit about what it is, which we can dive into on the next one. Our book club is almost started. So if you haven't gotten your book yet, Hal Elrod, and I don't know those other people, but I know him. I read his first book. It's good. Michael, look at you writing books. Cool. So he's gone. Dang it. All right. Well, Michael, I didn't even notice.
So here,
Yeah. This book that you
that was
wrote.
my first one, my first book.
Not your, oh, okay. Oh, that's so funny. So yeah, buy the book, location, time, we're still figuring that out. But yeah, the first Miracle Morning, the original one, absolutely fantastic. So I can't imagine this one to be any different. So that's coming up. We're gonna skip this guy, except for my new listing, come to Brokers Tour tomorrow. Yay. Thanks. Are you having good cookies? No.
Candy.
Just Halloween candy.
Just do one candy.
I could do some. Yeah, I'll get Vanessa's stash of the good candy. I'll trade you for a crumble cookie. I'll give you a cookie. Yeah, okay. So Ignite tomorrow with Russ, as well as script practice with Sarah and Seth. And then tech training the next week, alternating. And Marcia's going to talk today about the agency law changes here in a few minutos, which also I wanted to highlight that in town this Friday, the Annie's coming to, where is this, at Pybus? I think it is. Yeah, at Pybus. So $49, 3.5 credits. Interesting, isn't it? Or is it based on the amount of hours? Anyways, oh, that makes sense. So yeah, if you're interested in doing an in-person class as well, there's a QR code to sign up for that, and this will be a part of the sales rally notes. And that's all I got besides Brokers Tour. And sweet. Yeah, I might be going to the class as well. So Dale, I might see you there. I'm sure some of us, is anybody planning on going to the Friday class thing? Maybe Maybe kind of. Well, if not, we got a Marcia. You're gonna learn everything you need to know anyways in about 5 minutes, so you don't even need to go.
So sure, I better know.
Yeah. Yes. Sweet. So yeah, brokers tour tomorrow. And that's all I got. Goodbye.